Hello everybody, Daz here. Today I'm going to give you a further update on my Matrix movie inspired personal rig Sentinel build that I'm going to use a little bit for gaming, but mostly it will be my video rendering, video production computer. So therefore I have a quite specific requirements to it. I'm trying to make it as powerful as possible and also try to make it as loaded as possible, so my performance and my productivity will be as best as I can get out of current generation of hardware. I would like to say that I was lucky enough that with the help of the computers but mostly with Corsair, who was really nice enough to provide me with the top of the line Dominator Platinum memory, which is the most important. I actually requested 64 GB of RAM without much hope that I could get it, but Corsair was really nice to me and they gave me full set of 64 gig. I cannot stress how it's important for me personally, because to be honest with you, my current Venom running almost 98% memory utilization all the time, because I have a bunch of Adobe applications running simultaneously, and Adobe products not particularly written very well, I would say. They're really power hungry and they really just eat memory. So with 64 gig I will be able to keep simultaneous work without closing application, and this is really important requirement for my computer. I would like to say that we'll look on this memory, but I'm not going to talk to you about bits and pieces and how fast it is. So if you're looking for some technical background of this particular RAM, this probably will be different video when I actually start using it. Today we're going to talk a little bit about modding process and tell you how I try to change it so it will be satisfy my desire to build this computer which is look like a Matrix universe. So there's the two things I got again from Corsair. So the memory itself and the upgrade kit, which is give you a few things. First of all, you have traditionally with platinum memory you have this signature silver heat spreader that goes just above of those heat sinks, and inside you have a little LEDs on both edges of the RAM that highlighted through this little plastic piece that allows you to things to glow a little bit under the heatsink. But with the light upgrade kit you actually get slightly different piece. I already painted it, so don't be surprised it's black. And you have basically the same thing with the two little cutout holes that you can see some light coming through. So that's what I got. Original plan, I actually was thinking to build computer which will be black and blue color scheme. So for me it was a perfect match, because besides getting aluminum covers, you also get plastic inserts, and there's only two types you get from Corsair. You get one is basically clear and another one is blue. But the thing is, as soon as I decide to change my plan and decide to go after Matrix movie thingy, everything turns out that actually I need not a blue, I need a green. So my problem was when I got Corsair sponsored kit, only one unfortunately, so I had to get other three on my own, because this one kit covers two modules, but I have 8 RAM sticks, so I needed three more kits, I guess, right? So I get this, and my option was try to use either clear as it is, or blue obviously doesn't work. I'm not sure why Corsair wouldn't invest I don't know, extra buck and give you maybe 5 different colors or 7 different colors. It wouldn't cost you too much, but it is what it is. So I start thinking what my options to get thing glowing in a green color. And there's a few things. The easiest part, especially for guys who live in USA, there's actually a company online, I never bought from them, they call the Mainframe Customs. They sell different colors of those plastic inserts. I'm not sure if it's licensed from Corsair or not, it doesn't really matter, but you can get orange, red and green inserts. But for me in Canada, getting few sets of those plus shipping was like $100. and I didn't really feel to spend yet another more money on this computer because I already poured enough cash for this, even despite the fact that a few items was sponsored to me, which is of course makes things much more easier. Nevertheless, it's still pretty heavy on my own pocket. So I didn't want to spend $100 and start thinking what the ways can be done, try to get basically green glow out of this thing. So there's a few options I considered after I discounted Mainframe Customs thingy. So I thought to see if I can cut some sort of green piece out of green flexible tube. It wasn't so easy, really hard to cut red piece so it doesn't look like crap, so it looked really like a ghetto one. I also found a piece of green plastic that I considered to actually sew a piece and polish it, and after I decided that again it will take me like freaking a week and maybe easier to spend $100 and do through that. I even tried to consider maybe I can dye those transparent inserts, but it didn't work either. So finally I found the way, which is pretty easy, anybody of you can do it and will cost you just a couple bucks. I went to accounting and I stole green folder. And after with a cutting tool that I also have in the office, I basically cut a little piece of folder exact width as this insert. And so basically what I'm done is I put it as a filter. A white LED that is part of this module, shining white color, and after that, going through this green filter, you basically in that you end up with a green glow. Few words about LEDs and these modules in general. I knew that they have some sort of illumination thing, but I never saw it in action. So when I put it in my test bench, to be honest with you, I wasn't that impressed with that because the glow was really little. This thing, it doesn't glow that well, and it also doesn't really glow white because LEDs a little bit has a blue hint into it, so it's not even cold white. It's more like this typical LEDs all days, and they try to make it white, but it always was kind of blue. So it wasn't that impressive. Another thing that I discovered that also it's not that LED is crappy. LED is actually apparently turns to be pretty bright in this module, but the problem is that they just solder it on both sides of circuit board and they're shining straight into the wall, which is black, right? So only light that coming out up is kind of reflection from a black wall. That's why it's so dim. I think this could be really nice if Corsair could find the way to turn those lights up, and then it will be just really amazing. But I think there's a problem with constraints, probably technologically it's hard to do. In other opportunities, they also could put some sort of mirror or triangle prism to reflect it up, but they didn't. So we have bright lights, but because they're shining in the wrong direction, they are not producing enough light, at least for my liking. So what I actually did, it's really hard to me to show you because it's such a small thing, but I found a little bit of reflective green. I have this color swatch for different adhesive vinyl things, because if I want to make some sort of custom labels, I don't want to guess my color anymore because it costs money to order it every time. So I have this, I don't know, 300 colors basically from the company. I always buy it, and I just cut a little pieces from this green reflective sample and I put it on a wall. So now my LED is actually shining into this reflective film. I think it's giving me a little bit better light. I cannot measure it, of course, but visually I think I gain just a little bit better. But again, I'm not sure if it's really worth the trouble, but that's what I try to improve the situation here. So how the whole construction works, you have actual module with 4 LEDs apparently on both sides, shining sideways, and you have some lights coming up. And this little plasticky part is sitting on top of circuit board, and it's working as a pathway for your light coming out of PCB. And then basically other part is this insert that goes into aluminum part that sits on top of it, and it's work essentially as kind of window. I would say if your computer totally dark, you definitely see it well. But if you use any other lights, then performance of this lights pretty poor, you barely see them. Obviously Dominator Platinum probably comes out of a signature heat spreader, which is a silver color, but I think it looks a little bit too optimistic for the type of the build I'm having. So I'd like to show you here. So silver doesn't really place well in what I'm building here. So I decided that black will be nicer. In fact, it's not even a black. I actually sprayed with very dark green metallic color. So it has a little bit hint of green in it, but it's I would say it basically looks black, but if you look carefully, it actually looks a little bit green. I don't know, we'll see what kind of lights I'm going to use, and we'll see, maybe it will play its role, maybe it's not. But again, it's like, it looks absolutely dark, and that's the reason I want it, because I want this atmosphere on Matrix movie, because everything is black leather and or green hue things that going throughout all this series, and I would like to continue to use it in the same way, so to speak. The last thing I would like to touch, which is not basically on a subject of this Dominator Platinum RAM, but I was asked on several times that if it's possible to use a standard universal kits on a Platinum memory. Basically the answer is no. The reason for that is that you can see this is a traditional, also DDR4, but the standard type of RAM that I put bits power head spreaders on it, and if we remove this red heatsink, we basically can mount our water block on top of it. I just kind of did it unintended use, just hybrid between water cooling heat spreaders and GT accent heat sinks, just to make it pretty for my test bench. But if we try to use the same universal heat spreaders on this RAM, it will not work because the RAM is much taller. So if we put two together, we have at least probably good 8 millimeters more of circuit board going up. So if we try to put universal heat spreaders on a Platinum RAM, basically it will not cover chips, and so basically it doesn't work. I'm not aware that anybody make bigger heat spreaders that can be used for Platinum RAM, so probably the answer is no. So for that reason, I'm actually not going to water cool my memory, because there are no actual solution for that, unless you own metal shop and you can mill those things on your own. And again, water cooling memory is not really that necessary. It's more like for complete picture and the fun of doing that, and for the looks. In terms of performance, I don't think it makes any difference whatsoever, so I'm not sweat about it. I also really like my light bar thing, so I have freaking 8 modules, and they all will have a little green glow coming in it, so it will be pretty cool for my liking. So I absolutely have no regrets for not going water cooled route this time around. Alright guys, that's it. I have a couple new cool ideas, and the reason I didn't finish this build earlier, because I have quite a few parts that was delayed, and that includes memory and also some other automobile parts that I would like to incorporate in my build for cooler looks and try to make this a little bit more fancy than I usually do things together. So thank you again for watching. I appreciate your support guys, and come back for more updates on this particular build and for some other reviews. See you soon. Oh no.